I'm happy just to see you.
The 5AA Sports Show.
At a table with old friends.
KG and Cornsy's Where Are They Now?
And see which one of us can tell the biggest lies.
Past legends, past glories.
You remember?
Nothing stopped us all the deal. We're in our
Yes, where are they now?
Oh,
Let's
that
go
was-
back in time.
That was KG, it wasn't me.
In the background, humming the tune.
For ITS, the smoother movers.
And he was a smooth move this year. Our next guest,
I've forgotten.
a little blonde bloke, kicked 6 goals against the Bays, didn't he? And
Can't remember.
you can remember, all right?
I can't remember.
6 goals when Norwood won the 82 premiership.
Oh,
How could you forget that? He's kicked 6 big ones
I
against
forget. I completely forgotten. Our big game was the week before. The grand final was incidental.
you. Oh, yeah, I bet. Incidental.
Not for our next guest, of course. He was a staff for Norwood. Rick Neagle joins us. Rick, welcome to the program. How are you?
Thanks, Cornsy. KG.
G'day, Rick.
Yeah, well-
Good to see you, KG, that you're all fit again, mate.
Thank you, Rick. It's nice to be well again. But Cornsy was saying that he can't remember. He can remember, Rick, I can assure you.
Well, that week before, he put up with a fair bit of a hiding from one
that's
David
right.
Granger, of course, in that infamous prelim final. So
Yeah, I had concussion. That's why. I did.
Had concussion. No, that's his excuse. Unbelievable. I knew he'd get out of it, Rick. I knew he would.
Now, Rick, you've been quite prominent recently. You stood for Parliament against Nigel Smart recently, but we like to track back right to the start, where footy started for you, where life started for you. Where was it?
yeah, sure. It's I was back at St Peter's College, where I used to be dedicated to playing sport, cricket and football, and football was a big part of my life. Playing in the underage teams there up to the first 18, and I loved the sport, and just kept on with that after school.
So you grew up in the district.
Look, initially I'd lived in Dernancourt, and we moved then to St Peter's and in Marlborough Street there, and we basically walked to school from there in my early years.
It's an exclusive school. What was there family tradition of going to the school?
No, not at all. Look, it is a lovely school. There was no family involved there in terms of that. It was just lucky enough to go to a good school with a good academic record and certainly a great sporting program. And I think I did love my time there in many ways. And in fact, got married in the chapel there with my wife Trish. So it sort of holds good memories for me.
Yeah, I guess it does. And the old scholar fraternity, is that important to you still?
Look, it is. I see a couple of guys from there, but I've sort of got out of that a fair bit. I've been more focused on my work and my family rather than the old scholars. It's still strong, and I see them from time to time at various functions.
And Rick,
I was always envious of that. Is it what it's made up to be, or is it what it's cracked up to be?
Oh, absolutely. There is a I don't know what you call it, a code, I guess, and everyone helps each other, and it's fairly strong, and it's always existed, and it still does.
Rick, was it always Norwood you wanted to play with? Did you bag from or not?
Yeah, look, I grew up in the days of the 60s when Robert Odie and Bill Wedding were playing, and we were on the bottom all the time. I used to go down to the games and sit in front of the scoreboard and wave my scarf around, and we'd lose every week. The only thing we'd beat was, I think, was Central Districts, who were always second bottom, but we'd always beat them 3 times during the year, and I followed them from the day I was brought up that way.
So he went from college straight to underage at Norwood?
Yeah, I went and played under 17s the year after. I was a year younger for my age at school, so I just went in there and played 17s for a year, and then 19s and reserves for the year after that, and then played league from then on in 82.
Now, you are a physiotherapist by profession, aren't you, Rick?
I've been at Wakefield Sports Clinic for 15 years. I got
15 years?
Yeah, we've been there, and it's a great clinic here on Wakefield Street. We've got a couple of satellite clinics, and it's a big team of surgeons and physios and doctors, and it's great. Sports physio, basically.
It's where my doctor is, Doc Sando.
That's
He saved me many occasions.
Yeah, Brian's here seeing patients at the moment, and I've seen you in the waiting room from time to time, Graham.
Every time I've got a medical emergency, he rises to the challenge.
Brian's a good man.
Well, actually, my professional doctor's there too, Nigel Jones, Professor Nigel Jones.
Oh, back surgery or
back
neck
surgery?
problems?
Yeah, back surgery. He absolutely sensational. So it's a pretty popular place, Rick.
So, Rick, you said you played your first league game in '82. So was that your first year, and you won a premiership?
Yeah, I was very lucky. I know. In some ways, it was handed on a platter. It was great, and I only started playing midway through the year, and we played. My first game was at Unley Oval against Sturton. I don't think we lost a game after that. We won 11 in the row up to the premiership, so I was kind of blessed in some ways. But it was a great year.
And Rick, you absolutely belted the Bays in the final. 20 goals, 13 to 9, 17. You absolutely belted them.
You know, we were so confident that year without any arrogance. We just kind of knew that we had a good side, and we felt great on the training track. We hardly ever made a mistake during the finals at training. And I think when Glenelg came up, we never showed that. But I think from memory, Paul Weston was sick, and Peter Carey was playing on one leg, and I think there was a couple other injuries that you had to sustain as well. And it was kind of.
Yeah, look, it's amazing. I just always said our grand final was that game the week before, that famous game against Port Adelaide, and everything else is a blur. I just can't remember anything of that. Just cannot remember anything of that game, and Norwood obviously deserved to win it.
Well, hang on. The best players for the Bays: Corns, Maynard, Frost, Carey, McInerney, Marshall. Best for Norwood: McIntosh, Turnbull, Jenkins, and Eagle.
Eagle kicked 6, doesn't get in the first 3. How does that happen?
Danny Jenkins was sensational that day down the half-back flank. He turned the game many times for us there.
And you went on, so your first year you played in a premiership, kicked 6 in a premiership. You would have thought, this is my footy career now for the next 10 years, but 66 is a significant number, but it's not a long career, is it? How did it pan out for you?
No, I had a bit of trouble with study and football at the same time with physio, and I was trying to work and support myself at the time, and I put that as a bit more on the agenda. And then the last couple of years I struggled with surgery, and I ended up with injury, and I ended up having 3 operations in the last year, and I kind of just struggled a bit and tried to refocus about where I wanted to go, and my back was giving me a bit of trouble as well, so I basically pulled the pin and thought I'd go on with my career in physio, and never looked back since. I've been happy with that.
I suppose when you've got that career, and it's easy to say that, isn't it? And particularly when you've grown up with probably amateur sporting ideals, I don't know, which sometimes those private schools seem to engender. Andrew Aish was also a physiotherapist, wasn't he? Were you playing with him and studying with him?
Absolutely, yeah. And I see Andrew a fair bit these days at various functions, and he and I sort of almost had a mirror experience of having to come up with physio, and he went to a private school at Pulteney as well, and he struggled in and out of the side at the end, and we both retired the same year, I think. So, initially there's a few regrets with that. You kind of wonder whether you've played to your full potential, but and I sort of regretted the first year or two. But after that, I moved on, and